By 1942, continental Europe was crushed under the Nazi boot. From across the English Channel, the Allies knew they had to find a way to strike back at the very heart of the Third Reich. Their answer? An airborne assault on a scale the world had never seen. Over the next 3 years, American and British bombers would unleash a staggering amount of explosives on Germany. This is the story of how that relentless campaign crippled German industry, wiped entire cities off the map, and became a decisive and brutal chapter in the war to defeat the Axis powers. In the skies over the Reich, two powerful competing ideas about how to win the war went head-to-head. The British Royal Air Force, having suffered horrifying losses in early daylight raids, made a crucial switch. They would bomb at night. Flying under the cloak of darkness, RAF Bomber Command targeted entire cities, aiming to destroy not just factories, but the will of the German people to fight. It was a sledgehammer approach, born from desperation and technological limits. Then came the Americans, who believed in a totally different doctrine: high-altitude, daylight precision bombing. The U.S. Army Air Forces, with their heavily armed B-17 Flying Fortresses and B-24 Liberators, were confident that their advanced Norden bomb sight could act like a scalpel. The idea was to hit specific military and industrial targets, factories, rail yards, oil refineries, while minimizing civilian casualties. This round-the-clock assault, with Americans by day and the British by night, was made official at the 1943 Casablanca Conference. Its goal was the progressive destruction and dislocation of the German military, industrial, and economic system. But Germany wasn't just sitting there waiting for it. The Reich was defended by one of the most sophisticated air defense systems in the world. Bomber crews had to fly through a terrifying gauntlet of anti-aircraft fire, what they called flak, from thousands of cannons. Many of these were the dreaded 88mm guns, a weapon just as feared on the ground for its ability to shred tanks. And in the air, elite Luftwaffe fighter pilots flying deadly Messerschmitts and Focke-Wulfs tore into the bomber formations. For much of 1943, the Allied losses were simply unsustainable. Think about this. A bomber crew was statistically unlikely to survive their required 25-mission tour. The entire strategy of daylight bombing was on the verge of total failure, as unescorted bombers were proving to be tragically easy targets for the Luftwaffe. The air war became a brutal, high-stakes race of innovation. In July 1943, during the raids on Hamburg, the British rolled out a new trick called window. Basically, strips of aluminum foil dropped from the bombers. It seems simple, but it completely confused German radar, rendering their guidance systems almost useless. But the real game changer, the weapon that would alter the course of the air war, was the arrival of the P-51 Mustang. This fighter, equipped with a powerful Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, had the speed, the firepower, and most importantly, the incredible range to escort bombers all the way to their targets deep inside Germany and all the way back. For the first time, the Little Friends, as bomber crews called them, could take the fight directly to the Luftwaffe. Suddenly, the hunters became the hunted. Mustang pilots would go on to claim nearly 5,000 enemy aircraft destroyed, decisively clearing the skies and allowing the bombing campaign to move forward. With the Luftwaffe suppressed, the Allied bombing campaign escalated to a terrifying new level. In July 1943, Operation Gomorrah unleashed a firestorm on the city of Hamburg. The combination of high explosives and thousands of incendiary bombs created a vortex of superheated air that incinerated everything in its path, destroying 60% of the city. An estimated 34,000 to 46,000 people were killed. Industrial centers like the Ruhr Valley were systematically dismantled, but the most strategically vital attacks were aimed at Germany's oil. By relentlessly targeting synthetic fuel plants, the Allies crippled German production by over 90% by late 1944. This grounded what was left of the Luftwaffe and literally starved panzer divisions of the fuel they needed to fight. In February 1945, a series of infamous raids struck the city of Dresden, creating another massive firestorm that killed an estimated 25,000 people, many of them refugees. The human cost of this campaign was immense on both sides. Nearly 160,000 Allied airmen were killed, with 79,265 from the USAAF and 79,281 from the RAF. On the ground in Germany, the toll was even higher. The bombing campaign killed somewhere between 350,000 and 500,000 civilians, wounded hundreds of thousands more, and left 7.5 million people homeless. And while the bombs certainly depressed morale and created a sense of defeat, they never led to a widespread uprising against the Nazi regime. The morality of deliberately targeting civilian areas remains one of the most fiercely debated aspects of the entire Second World War. By the spring of 1945, the German war machine was grinding to a halt. Its industries were shattered, its transport networks were a chaotic mess, and its armies were increasingly immobile as fuel supplies vanished. The strategic bombing campaign had done its job. It forced Germany to divert millions of workers and thousands of vital artillery pieces to defending the homeland, dramatically weakening its armies on the front lines. While it was ultimately ground armies that took Berlin, the more than 1.4 million tons of bombs dropped by the Allies had systematically dismantled Germany's ability to wage war, shortening the conflict and ensuring its final defeat. It's a legacy that is both a testament to decisive military strategy and a sobering reminder of its staggering human price. If you want to dive into more incredible stories from World War II, make sure to subscribe and check out our other videos. And let us know in the comments what piece of history you think we should tackle next.